visual. I got a question for Caleb here.
Yeah.
And welcome to the show, Barry. I just saw you show up. Caleb, no gaming stuff, no CBEffects. You know, you still got a long time ahead of you to make this decision. But if I were to ask you right now, what do you think you'll be doing in the future? What do you think you'll be doing in the future? As like for a career or for your whatever you want to do in life?
Well,
There's
that's
a
a really
easy
difficult
question.
question.
Ed's looking for things to invest in.
I'm looking for interest. I'm just kidding. No, go ahead, shoot.
Because I'm really into a lot of different things. I mean, I play the piano. I've been playing the piano for a long time. I do computer programming. I love math, just as math, and I even do some art, like drawings. And I mean, so far the thing that I could see myself doing, like as a career, would be programming. But I mean, I love so many other things that there's really I don't really know.
Okay, well that's a perfectly fine answer, and you know it's actually a great answer in the sense that if I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is I'm familiar with this, and so it's easy for me to say that that sounds like something I could do, and it's hard for me to put a career to all these other things I like to do because they're a little bit more nebulous. But the good thing about your answer, in my mind, is that when you say, hey, I could do programming as a career, really what you're saying is I could do programming, but you know what? I could wrap all these other things around it and do something that uses that and my loves and skills and do something interesting.
Yes, and on that note, for example, my next game is not a puzzle game. This is the personal project I said I could that wasn't to a point. But like I'm writing the music for it myself. I'm drawing all the art myself. And it's not like the simple neon graphics for the crystalline that I had. I mean, it's a platformer, and yeah. So I'm able to kind of wrap all that up into that project.
I think too the world is changing in the sense that I think when us older guys were younger, if you said I was going to be a programmer, you know, when I grow up, that had a fairly narrow connotation in terms of what it meant. Maybe you could go into games, maybe you could be, you know, writing software. Now, saying, you know, I want to be a software programmer, well, that's got its legs in everything these days. So there's going to be opportunities for you to take these skills and integrate them with your interest in arts. And I mean, I say this as a guy who went to college for theater. So I think it's awesome. I think all this stuff, I think your future is going to be about finding where these passions and interests intersect.
Well, you know, Jason, I think we were. I hate to use the term renaissance, but I feel like we're kind of in a renaissance where it's not just you don't just have one skill. You have, you know, we have a flourishing of multi-talented, multi-skilled, interdisciplined people. Whereas, you know, maybe at one point, yeah, programming was sort of at a very narrow field where you just worked with computers. You know, just being the guy who could go into or the girl who could go into the room there and understand how to work the computer. That was a very important. Now it's more like, well, what are you going to do with the computer? What are you going to create with the computer? And it's very a creative space that we're in, or creative time that we're in.
And I think, Caleb, again, I'm harping on you as a young person, but I think it's fantastic that you're so accomplished. And I think you're part of a generation that is very computer literate, that, you know, everybody your age is going to be able to say, I'm a social media expert when they're 18. But I think you've invested yourself in a way that's going to really, anybody who takes the time to look in is going to see that you're not just you're 15 in 2015. Obviously, you know how to use a computer. Everybody who's 15 in 2015 knows how to use a computer. But you've invested yourself in a way that really just sets you up. And I think you've set yourself up, even if you're not programming, in the world that's coming about. You know, the skills that you're developing now are just going to be awesome for you. So, go you.
Yeah.
So, Caleb, among all the things you know how to do, what are some things that you don't know how to do in Corona? Is there anything out there that you would, you wish, hey, I wish I knew how to do that, or somebody would do that and I could look at it?
I have not done a lot of networking in Corona just because I've never needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't looked into the particle system of Corona, like the built-in one for Particle Designer and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be about it.
So you've done, I heard you say something about doing some pathfinding and some other stuff like that. So have you done any examination of genre mechanics, things like that? You talked about doing tower defense, which would imply that you'd have to do pathfinding and spawning and difficulty increases and the ability to have modular elements so that you should create different kinds of towers, things like that. So not really a good question. It kind of faded from being a question to a statement, but I'm trying to dig into what, I guess my question is knowing what you know about Corona and knowing what you know from your experience working with Corona, what are some things that you feel like are maybe missing or things that you wish were out there? If you can think of anything. It's a hard question.
I can't really think of anything that's really that way. I mean,
So nothing pops nothing pops top of mind.
Just there that I can think of instantly.
Okay.
I mean, probably if I thought long enough and hard enough, I could find some corner of something that's not there. But
My suspicion is that Caleb, when he comes across it, he'll know it, and then he'll just go write a whole library for it.
I don't need to answer that question because I'll just go write it, which is good.
I've got a question, and again, I think this points to somewhat of a generational thing because I think it'll be different. Like, what's the game? What's your favorite game? What's the game you wish you could, like? It's easy for me. I want to be Tim Schafer. I wish I could create Day of the Tentacle. It's like, to me, that's gaming's all downhill from there. I'm sorry, but like, what do you love to play? What do you want to make?
I have two games that I would consider the best games of all time. One is The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, which is just Zelda, I mean, you can't really beat that. And the other is Rayman Legends, because, I mean, something about Rayman just really, I just love it because I'm naturally a very quirky kind of person. And so the art style in Rayman Legends, I love the art style. It's beautiful, it's odd. The platforming in Rayman is just impeccable and amazing, better than any Mario game out there. The level design is just amazing. I don't want to keep going on and on about I'm being an ad for Rayman, but I mean,
do you have any platformers, in your stable of not finished projects?
Yes, I'm working on a platformer right now for that particular reason, which is actually I'm trying to blend everything I really love about Rayman and everything I really love about Zelda into one game. So yeah.
Cool.
That's what my next platform is.
Zelda, I mean, of course the franchise goes way back, but yeah, I've spent hours and hours and hours just playing Zelda. Just, I don't know what the attraction is to that game, but yeah.
I gotta tell you, Caleb, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. This is not Zelda. This is Zelda.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually,
it's the age gap, my friend.
Actually, I am playing Link's Awakening on my 3DS.
That's a great game.
You can buy it through the eShop. Okay. So yeah.
I've never played. I stopped around the Nintendo 64 point. I stopped owning them, so I haven't really played any of the later Zeldas. But the 8-bit and the 16-bit ones, the Game Boy, the original Game Boy one was fantastic.
Yes, and
I
you can get
played.
all those.
Let's just this is Link, not Zelda. The character is Link.
Yeah.
All detail important.
I played the first 8-bit version, and now I'm playing Link to the Past. Which is amazing. I think it's the best one in the entire
Oh, and
verse.
I mean, now everybody's got the dark level, the inverted world, but that was insane at the time.
hmm And like you can buy all of those old Zeldas on the 3DS eShop. So
Yeah, but you don't get the gold cartridge that way.
I mean, everybody always goes on and on like on the internet about how Link's Awakening is the best Zelda of all time. So I mean, I'm playing that now for it's all of its pixelated glory.